So we're still working out the kinks here, but that's okay. I'm still gonna have to edit a little bit from this video as we go into our next conversation, which is of course night 2, April the 8th of WWE NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver on USA Peacock Network in the US. Is the title correct on Twitch, Jay? It should say Jfabe Wrestling Podcast NXT Predictions, and it should say Wrestling Opinion from 2 English guys.
No, I've still got Jfabe on Twitch with 92 at the top.
Oh wow, it's got no. Above the banner, actually off the video and on the top of this, on the text on the screen. Jay is a lot of fun to do podcasts with. He's very technical. Gonna use his magic technical.
There we go.
skills.
There we go. It says Stand and Deliver now.
Oh,
Night
beautiful.
1 and 2.
Perfect. Right. That's not what we're looking at. We are not looking at that. Anyway, moving on. Ember Moon and Shitzy Blackheart versus The Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. That is for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Jay, what are your thoughts on this? How's that going for you? When and where did this come about? Who do you think is going to win? And one more question, which I haven't worked out yet.
This only came about in the last NXT episode when Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart accepted the challenge from The Way. But there's been backstage segments saying that they shouldn't be champions and things like that, and they've just come out and challenged them. They haven't really won a match for it or anything like that, so just one of those, really.
I'm working on my nodding. As you're on a delay, you'll get to see that very shortly. Cool. Who do you think
see Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart winning, as the one who just got the titles.
Okay, so really for them it's kind of an establishing themselves as the champions kind of thing, and
Exactly.
The Way are
And like first champions, which was Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, who lost on their first night of the title defense. So there was champions for all of, I don't know, an hour. Oh, the nodding's there.
yeah, enjoying the nodding. Yeah, that's good. That's yeah. Was it convincing? You may see me nod in the future.
Really
It's a bit that I'm gonna integrate. Cool. A match that I think a lot of people have kind of anticipated in many ways is of course Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. This is really the payoff, or at least in Vince McMahon's eyes, this would be the payoff to any stable, which is of course the 2 biggest single stars coming out of said stable, or potentially biggest single stars coming out of said stable, having a big old rock over who won the stable, who's like the winner of the stable, the leader or the better wrestler. So yeah, what's your thoughts on all of that, Jay?
This is meant to be the co-main event, so I'm not really understanding why it'd be on second. And for an unsanctioned match as well, I don't understand why it'd be second either. But yeah, they're going to beat the crap out of each other. Absolutely beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I think they are.
There'll be weapon missions in there as well, I reckon. There'll be involvement from Roderick Strong, because he's done with both of them. He walked out of NXT on the last episode, but obviously he'll come back for this match.
So definitely from, well, I mean that's what these matches are really for, aren't they? They're
Maybe the return of Bobby Fish.
I think it would need the return of Bobby Fish, really, if we wanted to say it was complete. I would like it to have the return of Bobby Fish. I like Bobby Fish, and I feel that the faction needs to come full circle. So it's part of that, really, for me, at least. And well, I'm hoping
Bobby Fish can help Kyle O'Reilly as they are Red Dragon. You could see that happening. But Roderick Strong's definitely the wild card, and will probably be the one who decides who wins this match.
That's fair.
Sure. Yeah, that's my thoughts. What's your thoughts?
I think, yeah, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at basically, you're looking at the Undisputed Era having their big blowout finally. You're looking at all of the old rivalries and all of the old bits coming together. I think this is the second to last possible match that the Undisputed Era could have. Really, because it's the ultimate who's the best, who is the leader, who is really the bigger man coming out of the Undisputed Era, and that's what the story is that they're telling. I think the only real thing that they could do beyond that would be a four-way match at a later date between all four of them, where obviously Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly put themselves out of the picture early on, and one of the other guys take the rub, possibly because they're too busy bickering and not really willing enough to take wrestling to the next level, which ultimately is what the Undisputed Era were originally there to do, right? That was like their original MO was to bring great wrestling to, and I think that out of everybody, Kyle O'Reilly's probably the person who's done that. So for me, he would be Adam Cole, fantastic, but he has transitioned into the WWE style so well, particularly when it comes to his promo work, particularly when it comes to how he interacts with the audience, particularly when it comes to how he lives and breathes a gimmick. For me, I think that it makes perfect sense that Adam Cole really needs to be done with NXT fairly soon. And I think that the logic would be there to have him moving out, whereas Kyle O'Reilly, he could carry this towards a championship run. He could carry this towards a big face run that could last all the way over till next WrestleMania. And I think if I was booking it, that would be how I would put it together. What about what's your thoughts on that? Do you have a riposte for that?
Do I think Kyle O'Reilly should have a title run or have a title run coming out of this? One thing about Kyle O'Reilly is he needs to work on his promos a lot, and his new angsty teen look probably isn't the best way forward. But his double denim cut-off jacket and band t-shirts with his mohawk.
Well, that's that's obviously what Triple H thinks is cool.
Yes, clearly.
I mean, he's obviously asked his teenage daughters. I mean, yeah. Or like Vince McMahon.
With Kyle O'Reilly, maybe they were trying to put in a certain crowd with that.
Well, I mean, honestly speaking about Kyle O'Reilly in regards to that, he does have. I don't want to kind of put my card on the table this quickly, usually on introducing myself to a new audience, but Kyle O'Reilly does have the potential to be the heartthrob of the group coming out. And I think it makes sense that they would potentially go for that bad boy image. I don't know whether he's the right person, considering the level of discipline that's clearly on display when he's in the ring. Because he doesn't have those. What's that guy from Barrow's name?
Barrow.
Yeah, from Barrow. Progress Wrestling.
Yeah, you've lost.
Black belt in Kick-Assitude.
Oh, Chris Ridgway.
There we go. He doesn't have the MMA leanings of Chris Ridgway to the degree where he could pull off that bad boy look but still retain the same level of discipline. And I think that branding him that way may be a bit of a mistake in the long term, because I don't know if he could pull that rebel with a cause kind of look off. No, it is just that when you're going for a punk style. Or a semi-punk style, as it is, a clean-cut punk style. Discipline is not what is involved with that style, and you end up with this. You ready for this? This is a word. You end up with a bit of a ludonarrative dissonance between the character and his wrestling style. and that it's probably the same dissonance that Vince McMahon might see in a Keith Lee, but here it's more on display. It's somebody wearing the wrong clothes. Effectively, it's somebody wearing the wrong gimmick. And with him, he just needs to be a well-disciplined wrestler that everyone knows, if the fight is fair, can't be beaten. That for me would be the path that I would take with him. But horses for courses, it might work. It could very well work.
You never know. People throw into the gimmick like a lot of people have in their gimmicks. So like Bailey, maybe that's what's going to happen here.
When she first attempted that gimmick, everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then, she came out with one of the best heel runs a woman's ever had in that company. I would go so far as to say, and it's very hard to get a good female
PWI number one.
Yeah, and well deserved as well. Taking this home then, who is going to win this match? Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Your chips on the table? Who's it going to be?
Coming out the winner of this, I would say Kyle O'Reilly is going to win this match.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole's destined for bigger things. But we've been saying that for nearly 4 years now. We've been waiting for him to be pushed up. What'd you say?
Could be his last hurrah in NXT, and then moved up to say Raw or SmackDown. Hopefully SmackDown, because I think his character would fit better there.
Yeah, that's fair.
If we went to Raw, we could get Adam Cole, AJ Styles, which would be an amazing match.
Adam Cole, AJ Styles is definitely an amazing potential match. It's one of those matches, though, much like AJ Styles, Finn Balor, I could very much see WWE kind of sitting on it. I mean, we only got that magnificent match between AJ Styles and Finn Balor as a result of an infection on the Fiend, Bray Wyatt at the time. That match nearly never happened, and it was one of the best matches of 2018. It's a weird one, because I could very much see them sending him to SmackDown to avoid the inevitable feud with AJ Styles, and then it never happening, which would be a disappointment for me. But yeah, I think you're about right on what you're calling there. Johnny Gargano versus Gauntlet Eliminator winner, which you have already put your chips on the table. You believe it to be Dexter Lumis. I'm going to tend to agree, as you've been watching NXT television and you've mentioned there is that story. What are your thoughts on this match? Is this another person for Johnny Gargano to beat, to continue to add to his legacy of people that everyone's fairly sick of Johnny Gargano as fans now, or what's going on with this Johnny Gargano situation? How do you think people are taking his current heel run?
Well, it's pretty hard to say without crowd reaction, even though I say you don't really need crowds, but you can't really tell until the crowds do come back for Johnny Gargano to see where they are with him, see if they are cheering him or booing him. But I'm indifferent about him. I'm different about his run. I'm indifferent about his character. I mean, I love Johnny Gargano as a wrestler, but the character work in this one, I mean, all of the things they put out there are like mid-90s, like pop culture references, and it's just really outdated.
Yeah, it feels, to me, it certainly feels like it is. I think you've hit the nail on the head, to be honest. I think it is nail on the head kind of situation with this, because it does feel like he's going to a box of tricks that was outdated towards the beginning of the Attitude Era. What is my hair trying to... I'm going to do that. That's fashionable, isn't it?
I'll see you in a few seconds.
Yeah, you'll see it in a few years. Yeah, it's a weird one. Personally, I enjoy seeing Johnny Gargano wrestle. I'm not enjoying what's in the ring, what's outside of the ring with Johnny Gargano at the moment. He's just too irritating. He's not particularly. He doesn't feel like a threat because he doesn't have any kind of heater in order to be as cocky as he is. And the simple fact is if anybody in a normal wrestling environment went around talking like that, you've just seen the hair, haven't you? If anybody in a normal wrestling environment went around talking to people like that, he would be... someone would attack him backstage. So he'd need a heater. But for me, it shows that level of cockiness is going unanswered as a storyline piece. And that kind of makes the environment itself feel unrealistic to some degree. And it's a shame because it just needs a little bit of that backstage heat. It just needs somebody to just pop him one and actually have a fight with him, because if he's going to be cocky to people and then just face them in wrestling matches and occasionally cheat, then don't have a wrestling match with him, have a fucking street fight. You know what I mean? As a face, that would be the logical thing to do, especially in NXT. It's an environment where faces can go for street fights, where faces can get involved in that kind of thing. But whatever. I think that Dexter Lumis is not going to win this. I think that he's going to be slated to win this, and then he's going to stub his toe and break his shoulder while he does it. And then the next thing you know, he's going to be out for 7 years again. I'm saying that I think he's injury prone.
Right, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to sneeze and his eyes are going to fly across the ring or something, and then he's going to be, out for like a year and a half, or, someone he's going to brush past. He's going to brush past the curtain and break a rib.
He's not Kevin Nash.
I don't know. The jury's still out on that for me. We've only seen him in a couple of big matches.
Too intriguing for them to not even try and attempt to put the title on him right now, because obviously Johnny Gargano's stale as hell, so they need to mix it up a little bit, and then why not? Yeah,
that makes sense. Fair play. Interesting. So Santos Escobar, interim NXT Cruiserweight Champion, with Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, is in a ladder match to determine the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion against Jordan Devlin, who may or may not have been mentioned in Speaking Out.
Definitely would have been mentioned in Speaking Out.
Okay, Jordan Devlin, who has currently untested allegations against him within the Speaking Out scandal and is still on television. What are your thoughts on this match?
Wow. Speaking of wrestling ability, these are two of the best cruiserweights that WWE actually have, and I can see why they're the ones holding the titles. Obviously, Jordan Devlin ended up being taken off TV whilst being champion because of the Speaking Out. Should we call it scandal?
Yeah, I think we can call it a scandal at this stage.
And Santos Escobar, well, he's been killing it in Japan and Mexico before he even came to NXT, putting on great matches all over the world. And another one that's taken the WWE style really, really well. So we're looking at two of the best cruiserweights, I would say, in the world. They're in NXT, and they're gonna have a ladder match.
This is
things can come from this match.
This is all of your WrestleManias coming at once, isn't it? I mean, you don't feel that it's been a good April if there hasn't been at least two good ladder matches, one on the Indies and one at WrestleMania, or at a WWE event surrounding WrestleMania.
You enjoy a good ladder match.
I'm
always
really
saying,
do.
just add a ladder to it.
Yeah, that's your thing.
Add 3 ladders to it.
It's one of your things. I have the voices, you have the ladder match. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm with you on this. As an actual match, the in-ring product I think will be very, very good. There's a bit inside me that kind of hopes that this is the end of Jordan Devlin's run.
Take care of my laptop.
So what did you say?
Nothing. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Cool. Yeah, there's a bit inside of me that says that I'm hoping this will be the final gasp of Jordan Devlin before he disappears off television, and they sort out whatever but it's not going to be, is it? Is this going to be is this going to be a Velveteen Dream style situation where they try?
I don't think he's going to get that much heat from the crowd. I don't think he's going to get any heat on the internet either. He's going to get no heat at all.
Because his profile's too low, or
because his profile's too low. If anyone doesn't say anything, it would be someone from the UK. I don't think any of the American audience would have picked up on this.
Yeah, that's fair. It does seem that a lot of the heat to WWE from WWE fans was aimed solely at Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream, and it seems that a lot of that was based on the fact that the assumption was that WWE had already cut the wheat from the chaff in the NXT UK crowd, and Jordan Devlin, if he had have done something, would have been part of that. Now, obviously, we don't know the ins and outs of the allegations, what's true and what's not. I'm not that confident that WWE wouldn't run with it. Wouldn't just brush it under the carpet if there wasn't an admission of guilt from the talent themselves, if they felt it was lucrative. We've certainly felt that with Velveteen Dream, who was obviously guilty enough to delete his Twitter and disappear off that for a long time, but not guilty enough to stop making money for the WWE. Whereas, other superstars or former superstars, like, for instance, Gentleman Jack the not so Gentleman Jack were able to kind of admit their wrongdoing and immediately leave the business. So, I don't know. For me, that's all very murky. I think that they're just going to ignore it all. And I think that they have been ignoring it all. So, yeah, I think... I think we're going to see Jordan Devlin win. And I think there's probably a lot of too sweets going around in the backstage area to make that happen. But yeah, it's it's all about getting the balance right. Sorry. Speaking of which, Finn Balor versus Karrion.
Was that a segue?
It was both a segue and an insinuation, my friend. It was both. So, Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. While we're talking... Karrion Kross, not Karrion Crotch. There's a point. Hello, my name's Karrion Kross.
I'm here to take your soul.
What does it look like to have carrion all over your crotch? Yeah, speaking of you scratch my back, I'll make sure that you end up in the main event on night 2. Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross in a singles match for the NXT Championship. To be fair, how far has Finn Balor been since he's rejoined NXT?
Resurgence of a career or what?
He needs the small arenas. I know that sounds weird, but he needs that indie big fight feel in order to feel impassioned.
He needs Vince McMahon guys on his back.
Yeah, I mean, it's that classic kind of turning up and smiling. You're gonna be the smiling Irishman because we've already got a miserable Irishman. Is that, isn't it? Get rid of that and the whole I'm really happy to be here, look at me, indie star. I was broke my shoulder. It's that's the WWE way, isn't it? Is to get one of these people and just make them laugh and smile and wave, if they've already got a miserable Irish person, you know, and it's.
Do you think we're going to see the Demon? Obviously, they're 2 and 1 the same now, apparently, and he can just flip into the Demon whenever he wants. But are we gonna? Is he going to put it out for this WrestleMania before WrestleMania Takeover?
I think it has he referenced the Demon, because I'm not sure what the deal is with the Demon. I'm very, very divorced from the product.
So, but why not show up as the Demon? Because it would more fit the Karrion Kross character for him to be the Demon, I would say.
I think it depends whether. See, for me, the story would need to be that Karrion Kross took the belt.
Karrion Kross looks like a big boss man. Is anyone sure if he is actually his son? Because they look similar.
Karrion Kross. Well, luckily we are in the age of the magical internet. I made sure that when I was time traveling, I made sure that I got dropped back here. I do not believe he is the son of the boss man.
Or related to in some way.
There is no reference to that as a possibility. I mean, that's not to say it's not a possibility.
So many similarities and facial expressions from them. It's
ridiculous. Well, you never know. You never know. But no, nobody seems to be saying that that's a thing at the moment. Just going to take a quick gander at a picture of him. There is a bit of a Big Boss Man reference there, isn't there? Yeah, I can see what you mean. He seems to have the same kind of thing going off there.
Face. The same face.
There we go. Yeah, that doohickey over in this area. Yeah, who do you think's winning this? Because I think if this is a time for the Demon storyline, Karrion Kross has to win first.
Yeah, true. And he did only lose the title because of a shoulder injury that he suffered whilst in the match with Keith Lee, winning the title from him. And then obviously Finn Balor went in and won the title.
Sniped it.
So she's been coming for a while. Yeah. But then obviously Finn Balor's been champion for months and months. So they could put it back in Karrion Kross, give him a decent run. But yeah, like you said, maybe the Demon would come out after Karrion Kross maybe chokes Finn Balor out.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I would say personally, I feel that Finn Balor will probably enjoy a little break. I think that I will always want to see the Demon come out, obviously. If he loses to Karrion Kross, he will need to spend some time away, because the only logical thing for that character to do is to go after the belt. That's the only reason Finn Balor, as a heel, fights effectively. That's his driving force, is to be crowned the prince. It's the old Goldie storyline, really. So he needs time off if he does lose. If he were to come back and for his main goal to be to defeat Karrion Kross, then he would need to come back, not necessarily in smiley happy face mode, but he would need to come back in anti-hero face mode, ready to bring out the Demon, and that would need to be the big selling point of that match. At which point Karrion Kross would obviously beat him again, and then it got to the main roster and be happy and smiling on Velocity or the main event or something for the next 3 years, and then go back down to NXT again. One of those. I don't know, I'm just kind of...
So what you're saying, that Karrion Kross is going to come out victorious in this one?
I reckon so. I don't know. Finn Balor seems to be having a lot of heat. And I think having Kenny Omega as the champion over in AEW, it makes sense to have Finn Balor as the champion in NXT, but if they're moving to Tuesday night anyway, then less so.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the only
That would be an
person...
interesting matchup, wouldn't it? Again,
It
Finn
really
Balor
would.
versus Kenny Omega.
I mean, the only
Title versus
person... The only person...
Like it's WWE.
The only person on the NXT roster who could hold a candle to Kenny Omega in any serious way would probably be Finn Balor, with maybe an Adam Cole as a potential other. Johnny Gargano, maybe. Actually, there's loads of people now I think about it, never mind. But Finn Balor's the only person who's already considered an equal to Kenny Omega, I think, in many ways. So, yeah. There you go.
Well, two former leaders of the Bullet Club, even though, well, you could say that Kenny was the leader of the Bullet Club, even though he kind of was.
Yeah, Kenny was a weird one because obviously there was the Elite and then there was everything else. Because when Kenny led the Bullet Club as such, when he led
definitely the leader of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, when he led the Bullet Club, he was definitely leading it for a period before he broke off into the Elite, which interesting place for them to be. All in all, do you reckon this will be a good event? Do you reckon it will be better than WrestleMania?
I mean, normally I would say yes, straight off the bat, but it's 50-50. You just don't know what you're going to get with them at takeovers anymore.
That's
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I hope it is better than WrestleMania, because then I'll put NXT back in the forefront. But
where it belongs.
But they need to prove that's where they need to be.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can understand that. Other big news coming out of that we haven't had a chance to talk about: leg slapping. No more thigh slapping.
Banned.
What's going on, Vince? What's going on? No more thigh slapping, WWE.
It's not realistic enough. Don't slap your thigh.
Bit strange, to be honest.
It's all got to be reality now. It's reality based now. You know, it's never been done before. Reality based.
Yeah, no, it didn't completely fail in NJPW. and obviously,
you never get that.
Yeah, and let's not forget it wasn't the thrust of the whole when the network was first starting. They almost tried to dub it the reality era, you may remember, under Triple H's kind of push, and that kind of failed. But
yeah. There
was a period when a lot of WWE's programming had that kind of reality TV kind of feel to it, particularly NXT, particularly NXT UK. Both of those had a reality TV kind of feel to them for a little while just before they moved into the pandemic. Now Vince McMahon's obviously got on that train. Doesn't want people to do,
leg slaps.
But
I'm pretty sure they're using sound effects instead now. So.
Of course they are. They got somebody sat there with a leg, and the sound effects probably is probably of one of the young bucks slapping their leg.
Chair and boo button, leg slap button.
Yeah. Next to the "This is awesome" chant button, of course. Which it definitely feels weird hearing that artificially added to a match. That I can just hear Vince McMahon jizzing every time it happens, and he's just like, "Oh, it's good shit." That's what he sounds like. That's what he would have sounded like if it had been a character on Jfabe. Other than that, Christian Cage. So I've watched the match with Christian Cage.
Yeah.
His debut.
Is it kayfabe or not?
That is the question. Because, I mean, anybody who did watch this on Wednesday night on ITV in the UK, and obviously that was on a Friday night, and on TNT in the US, anybody who did watch this probably would have been like, nah, he looks a bit blown up. Because there was this... First he stumbled through the ropes, and there was a period where it was clearly kayfabed ring rust, But what wasn't ring rust, I don't think, unless it is all a work, was how clearly knackered he looked throughout this affair. Like not Karrion Kross, sorry. What's his name?
Kaz.
Yes, that's what the K's did it for me. Kazarian was very much like cardio to fuck. You know, I mean, this is a guy who literally, probably for every single day of his adult life, anybody could just have walked up to him as he was having his breakfast and said, "Do you want to run a marathon today?" And he would have been able to say yes and done it. That's how good that guy's cardio is. So to have him beaten by a wheezing 50-year-old nearly, kind of eking out a fairly limp version of his finisher, felt a little bit incongruous. It felt a little bit ludonarratively dissonant. And I think that it was supposed to be ring rust as a work, and it became a shoot, to Christian's surprise, during the match.
But then you had like the Joe on commentary saying, "This has been a masterclass." Just like, has it?
Yeah,
Has it
he
really
did
been
say
a
that, but then they did also say that the heat from that bomb, they could feel it from where they were sat. So I'm not 100% sure that the commentators are not reading from a script, at least some of the time.
They've definitely got a prompt screen.
Yeah, they've definitely got somebody is screaming in their ear. I mean, granted, probably not as loudly as Vince McMahon, but yeah, that's an interesting one.
Well, the thing about stage is Cody, isn't it? Gorilla and the books.
I don't know. They're definitely going to try and sell him as being good. It wasn't a great match. Christian Cage didn't come out of it looking strong. If I'm to be honest, Christian Cage came out of it looking exhausted. And I'm hoping it's a case. In fact, I know it's a case of give him a month. I think he was probably doing the same workout regimen that he was doing before Royal Rumble. That was his first one-on-one match in 7 years, and it's not a surprise that somebody can go into that Royal Rumble environment when they're doing a reduced cardio workout schedule and kind of think, okay, that was great, the adrenaline, etc. I'm happy, let's go, and then not really necessarily.
Oh wait, come on, breathe.
Exactly, because it's a different environment. It is a different environment. You can't get punched by Braun Strowman and then go lie under a turnbuckle for 6 minutes while the cameras focus on something else in a one-on-one match. You can't do it. You have to be reacting and constantly moving, and it's a different discipline. And I think it was probably a case of Christian Cage remembering that difference for the first time in a while, and remembering that his cardio needs to be a little bit more on point. That's my take on it. I mean, saying that, don't take my advice in regards to cardio, because I only just found out that my waist isn't in between my hips like 4 days ago, and I'm really, really sad at how big it is.
I'm in a similar situation. Don't worry, Rich.
Okay. It's when they get the tape measure out. Oof, that hurts. That stings. Other big news. Chris Jericho getting his WrestleMania check in a different way this year, by appearing on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. Was it an April Fool's joke? Was it not? We don't know, but it looks like it's going to happen. Thoughts, Jay?
Looks like it's real. Great, isn't it? It's great that Vince was on board with that. Apparently it was Jericho that reached out to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Stone Cold was the one that actually pitched the idea to Vince, and he went for it.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, to double check with Vince. So yeah, we're going to get an AEW star, ex-WWE star on Stone Cold.
It's very interesting.
Podcast.
It's very interesting. And do you think, as a result, we're going to there's a potential for other stars to end up on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast from outside of the WWE? I mean, obviously, he's not gonna be sitting down with he's not going to be sitting down with Ryback anytime soon. But who, if this forbidden door does open, who would you most like to see walk through it over the next few months? I mean, I'm sure it'll be a one-off, so I'm just fantasy booking the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast right now. Well, I'm not getting a response out of Jay. I think we've got a bit of network issue. So yeah, that's a bit of a difficulty. I'm just waiting for Jay to catch up with us.
It was stated.
He's talking about the 31st of April, so I don't know what that's all about. I'm just going to continue to talk until Jay catches up with us. And how I'm going to do that is by mentioning that we are available at anchor.fm/Jfabe. That's where you can get us in a podcast, so you can stick us in your ears, stick us in your ears, and catch a bus. You can view us on Twitch. Just have us going on in the background. We've got a live chat. You can talk to us in the live chat. You can just start asking us questions. I know this is our first week doing that, but I'm hoping that people can get involved. Jay has just left us high and dry here. That's something that Jay does every now and then. It's due to his shitty internet. It's just one of those things. Just one of those things. I can say it because he's not here anymore. So just gonna move to my front cam and just say that we're available at anchor.fm/Jfabe. We're also available on Twitter. That is at Jfabe Podcast. You can just get in touch directly with us. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on iTunes. You can listen to us pretty much anywhere you want. You can just get in touch and find us. I'm going to be available on YouTube. This is going to be available on YouTube. Our podcast moving forward is going to be a Twitch and YouTube vehicle. It's just something that we want to do. It's something that we talked about for a while, and it's something that we really, really feel is the next step for us. In addition to that as well, I mean, part of the thing that I want to mention in regards to that is that we're going to include Taz in the future. Taz will be joining us. He's definitely going to be joining us. We've just got to work out what that looks like. I'm thinking maybe Taz is going to join us via medium of phone call, maybe with a little glowing thing. I don't know, because he's got important stuff to do while he lives and breathes in space and be a time duke. So yeah, but he set up this Twitch for us, which is awesome. So thank you, Taz and Jesse the Body Ventura, for doing that for us. That's been really, really cool. Jay looks like he is trying to rejoin, so I'm getting a nice little face of Jay smiling, but he is frozen. He is frozen solid, frozen in time, you might say, which is something that happens. I've just seen him kind of smile, so it will probably be a good time if he has actually connected to take that stoic expression off his face and give me a thumbs up, so that I at least know that he is available to continue talking. Or maybe he is just maybe he's rejoined. In fact, I'm going to show the room this scene. I'm going to just show the room this scene. This is what I'm getting, but I've just seen. Oh, and he's gone. And now he's back. Now he's back again, and he's kind of. Oh, there he is, Jay.
Hello.
Oh, mate.
Hi, I'm back.
I thought. Yeah.
There.
You had a bit of a what there?
Just sort of lost connection.
Okay.
Connection there.
He says that, but he was really frozen in time.
Before I went, what I was saying
is
from what I've been reading, posted after 1st of April, about Vince McMahon wanting Cody Rhodes and Moxley to work a pay-per-view, possibly He's been talking to Tony Khan, apparently. Don't know how true that is, but yeah.
Wow. That could be interesting. So who's that again? Jon Moxley and
Cody
Rhodes and Jon Moxley working a pay-per-view. How would that work, do you think?
I mean, the only way they could really bring Moxley into a storyline would be Shield-wise. Wouldn't it be interesting if we got Shield versus Super Elite? That would be quite interesting.
I think it would be quite interesting, but I think the question would be, how would you have Jon Moxley go back to that Dean Ambrose character?
But he wouldn't go back to Dean Ambrose character. He would just stay as Jon Moxley.
Then he wouldn't need the Shield.
But everyone knows that he's Dean Ambrose, so
he's not Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is a Looney Tunes neutered fuckwit, and Jon Moxley is the most badass man on the planet. Those two characters do not work together, and that's the thing. You can't just at this stage, and I think it would be undermining Jon Moxley at this stage and the hard work he's put in the last 2 years if they just took Jon Moxley and slapped the label Dean Ambrose back on him, and that to me would be the problem. I think he would need to be distinct from. He would need to be distinct from Dean Ambrose in some way, and they would need a kayfabe way to explain that. Even if it is just a case of the Death Rider style intro, where it's like we're going to bring somebody in who is going to take care of you, and no, it's not Dean Ambrose, and then boom, Jon Moxley, and then a reaction that's off the charts, followed with Cole being like, oh my, it's the Moxinator, it's the big Mox, it's it's Chicken Mox, it's Moxley Crew.
It's Moxicillin.
It's the Moxley Crew now, Cole doing that, and then the next thing you know, 3 weeks later, he's sat on a doctor's table getting his bum examined by Vince McMahon while he laughs and says, "You're crazy," wearing a gas mask, that kind of stuff.
I mean, it probably won't happen, will it? So,
I don't think so. I think Cody will probably be more receptive of it than Mox, I think, at this stage. Although Mox will probably do it just to go and see his friends again, but I think the amount of creative control Vince would want, I think will probably rub both of them up to some degree.
Maybe just stick with the podcast. Maybe probably the best way.
Probably.
It's probably the only way they can open that forbidden door with WWE. Anything that's non-wrestling related, in WWE universe, no actual wrestlers going into that and doing, say, an invasion as such.
I think an invasion storyline would be great. I think that everybody involved is wise enough at this stage to know that invading WWE leads to not beating WWE, and as long as Vince McMahon is alive, that's never going to happen. And I mean, maybe Vince McMahon's learned from the invasion angle, but personally, I wouldn't trust it as far as I could throw it, simply because he's known for changing ideas on the fly. He is known for getting to the night before. I don't know why I'm doing that. That just ruins the recording. I don't know why. He's known for taking things the night before and then saying, no, actually, that plan that we've all agreed upon is not going to happen, and in fact, something completely different is going to happen, and it's going to serve only my assets, because that's how this works. Because I am Vince McMahon and I am king of the world, and fuck you all. It's all about the WWE.
Yeah, that is exactly what he's like. Yeah. from what we've gathered.
So yeah, that's my concern, and I think it's understandable that they should be skeptical, because I sure as fuck would be. Well, think we sorted it, mate.
This has been an interesting switch, hasn't it? To Twitch, switch to Twitch.
Yeah, how have you felt it's gone?
No, not too bad. Not too bad, mate.
It's actually felt quite relaxed, quite chilled. I've really enjoyed it. It's felt like a conversation. I think there's, I think I'm going to be honest with everyone from now on. It starts here. I'm not a time duke. That's at not a time duke on Twitter. And I mean, I am a time duke, but I am at not a time duke on Twitter. And Jay is not a robot. He is at I am not a robot on Twitter as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting kind of way of it for us to do the podcast. There's been a couple of technical hiccups this first time. Jay's voice has been a little bit croaky at times, a little bit robotic.
We'll iron it out.
We will iron it out. There's a couple of things that I think we've still got to work out, and that's going to come in time. It's definitely something that I've enjoyed doing, and I think it's the vehicle. It is the vehicle that we're going to be taking. Jay, anything else? Because I mean, you're looking comfortable. You look like you could go all night, mate.
I actually do not have anything else to speak about this evening.
Okay. Oh, one more question. One more question.
What's that?
Because I didn't get your answer the first time. Who would you have as the next person on the on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, not our podcast? We couldn't get anyone for shit.
That's what you think.
Prove me wrong, Jay. Prove me wrong. Yeah, who would you have next on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast from outside? If you could have anybody, who do you think will be a realistic prospect? So Ryback's obviously not going to happen. CM Punk's a maybe. Other than those guys.
Well, if you think about it, you're looking at Cody easily doing a podcast now. He'll come back and do a podcast. Just with like how I fucking told you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Easily. But who would I like to see on the Stone Cold podcast? Who would make a good podcast? Who's had quite a good career? Who's already been in WWE? Who's made a name for themselves outside of it? That is gonna be. I mean, I'd like to say Gail Kim, but I don't think she'd be very good on the podcast.
I think she'd be shit. Because we're the podcast kings, right?
Yeah, totally. We are podcast the kings. We're both wearing crown now.
Yep.
You just can't see him.
We've won the podcast, guys. We've won it. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Cody Rhodes. Anyone else?
This always happens to me. It's like I know all these wrestlers and then no names, nothing's come to mind.
Yeah, nothing really for me. I could see them potentially going for a Kenny Omega and not getting it. I could see them maybe doing a Matt Hardy because of his history. And I think the Heat's died down on his last run long enough that they probably could. And I think Jon Moxley as well has become enough of a transcendental star. He's on a Chris Jericho level nearly, where he could potentially do that. Eric Bischoff is another one who's kind of, doesn't matter who he's signed to. JR doesn't matter who he's signed to. There's a few people now who, when you really think about it, if the door's open for Jericho, it would be open for them. Big Show notwithstanding.
Marco's done.
Marco's done. That's it. Book it, my man. We know you love
Okay.
a little. We know you love a
Come
little
onto the
guy.
podcast, talk about his career, and you could do a song.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Marco's stunt, just something I realised the other day. He is really bigging up the "I'm 12 years old" thing, isn't he? Like after his backstage segment with the temporary tattoo and everything. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like it is really. I mean, I know that he's always kind of played that card quite a bit, but you know, like the most famous picture of the two stunt brothers is them drinking Capri Suns, but at the same time, I mean, Jesus, he is really like he's doing the whiny voice thing and everything.
Yeah, he
It's
really
weird.
wants the internet to hate him, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's going for. But you know, we're big fans, Marco Stunt. We think you're great on this show. Jay especially, he loves you. Anything else, or are we done? We're just about to hit the 2 hour mark. Apparently that's all right on Twitch, but the podcast will probably be cut down to about 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Right then, I have not got any outro music. Not going to shout out to Mitch because we all know the truth about Mitch now. I'm going to see you guys later. Let's
Bye everybody.
Oh dear me. We'll try and do more regularly. We will try and do more regularly as time goes on. That's just something we're going to do.
My next podcast should be Saturday.
Should be. Did you say Saturday?
Saturday after night 2. Yeah.
We're putting it up on the schedule. Go to Jfabe on Twitch. That is Jfabe Podcast on Twitch. It's going to be on the schedule. We are going to decide a time. You can keep your eye on that schedule. You can subscribe, or you can just become a follower if you don't go for the subscribe thing. If that's a bit too much of a commitment for you, then feel free to just be a follower. That's cool. We don't mind people following us. That's something that happens. Other than that,
Just hit that button.
indeed,
Bottom
you can.
right-hand corner.
Contact us on Twitter, contact us on anchor.fm/Jfabe. You can leave a message there. You can actually come and join us on our Twitch stream and ask us questions live on air, and we will do our best to make jokes out of them, because that's what we do. We're the funny show. That's our new identity. Now that the organisation has pulled the plug on the sci-fi stuff for a little while until I can work out how to get it into the video and slowly kayfabe Jay into doing it again. Other than that, I will see. We're just really self-aware since those robots came along, aren't we? We're just really self-aware.
I don't know. We're not doing sci-fi anymore, Rich.
Well, you're just not playing along. Is that it? Is that what's going on? Is that the thing now?
Yes, we're self-aware now. Everyone knows everything. Even though Rich is not real.
I am real.
Taz isn't real. It's just you. You're just a voice. It's just a
No.
voice. Everyone knows.
Taz is real. Don't you dare. You're not breaking that. I'm cutting that off the podcast. That's the end of the podcast. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.